So if you haven't already, now it's time that you log in. And that is the objective of this session here. So the login server for Kebnekaise is this one, kebnekaise.hpc2n.umu.se. If you're using ThinLinc, as I showed, you should use kebnekaise-tl.hpc2n.umu.se. It is possible to connect to ThinLinc through a browser, though there will be somewhat less features. That is this URL here. And note the :300 port at the end. In addition, there are login nodes for the AMD-based nodes, and that is mainly used if you want to check what modules are there or compile something for them, but we will talk more about that later. But there are specific login nodes there. But usually you would just log into the regular one, then open a terminal window and for a brief time log into the Kebnekaise AMD login nodes and check what software is there. And if you haven't used some specific SSH client before, then we recommend ThinLinc. If you're using Windows, we recommend ThinLinc. I showed you previously how it looked, but you download the client from this address here. And it should be very friendly to install. And it can also be installed on Linux, though I think that it's easier for you to just use SSH from a terminal window if you're running Linux. So put the server name here under server, put the username you have, and then put your password and click connect. It might be a good idea if this is the first time to go to options and security and check that authentication method is set to password. And that screen has unchecked full screen mode, especially if you're using a laptop, since it may otherwise flow larger than the screen, which can make it difficult to use. So you will get your first temporary HPC2N password from this page here. And that will be linked in the email you got, but it looks like this. You authenticate through Super. So you just click here and then do that, and then you will get a temporary password. But that link should be in the email you got when you got your account created. Then log into Kebnekaise and change the password with passwd. And I think let's take a couple minutes and see if people can do that. So please do thumbs up or something when you have been able to log in. But I will continue and talk about file transfers. I'm not going to talk about that a lot because we're not going to use it as part of this course, but you may have to do it in your workflow when you use Kebnekaise or other HPC centers. But otherwise, there is a documentation page that you can go to for HPC2N about file transfer. If you're using either Linux or Mac OS, then you can use SCP directly from a terminal. And that should already be installed. And you can do that with SCP from a remote system and to a local by just doing a dot for that you want to put it where you in the directory you're in, or you can give the path to the directory. And if it's a local file to Kebnekaise, you could do SCP, the file's name, and then username at kebnekaise.hpc2n.umu.se : the file, if you want to call it the same, or if you want to put it in a specific directory, whatever. It's possible to recursively directory copy from a local system to a remote system by adding -r. Otherwise, rsync may be better for that, but you can read about that on the file transfer page. SFTP is a secure version of FTP, more or less, and it can be used as a command line program on Unix, Linux, Mac OS, and you simply use SFTP, your username at the server name, and then you are logged in, and you use put to put a local file to the remote, for instance, in a directory and under some directory if you want to, or just otherwise just the name of the file. Or you can just put it if you want to put it into to a specific directory or something. And if you want to fetch it, then you use get. And I don't know why I haven't written an example of that here, but you use get to get something from the remote system to the local system when you are logged in with SFTP. On Windows, you would need to download a client. WinSCP FileZilla would also be useful for SFTP. There are also commercial ones, and you can transfer with SFTP or SCP. And there is documentation on our pages for how to do it with Windows. But it's easy to do inside of one of the GUI, graphical user interface file transfer system, programs. So I will briefly talk about editors. The reason for that is that the editors on a Linux system are probably different to those you use on Windows or even Mac OS. And there will be command line editors and graphical editors. If you connect with a regular SSH client, you would use a command line editor. If you use ThinLinc, you can use either a command line editor or a graphical editor as you want. There are some good editors for use on the command line. Nano, Vim, Emacs. I would suggest you use Nano if you don't know any of them already. And you start Nano with Nano. Let's try to do that. And if you just do that and don't type the name of a file or anything, then if you write something, hello, and then you type Control and X to close it. This hat here means Control. So hold Control down and X to exit. It will ask you if you want to save the modified buffer. You can say Y for yes, and then it asks you what do you want to call it. My file text or something. And then it saves that. So you now got a file with that name, as you can see here. But otherwise, you do nano, and if you then pick a file that's already there, it opens it, and you can edit it and again save it if you want to, or you can even create a file with it. New file, text, and then you can write stuff to it. And then do hold Control down and press X. It asks, do you want to save it? Yes. And now when it already knows the name of the file, it will suggest it. If you want to call it something else, you can edit it, just otherwise press enter and it will save to that. And now that is there as well. If you're using a GUI connecting with ThinLinc, you have options for graphical user interfaces. Of course, you can either open an editor and again do like this, or you can use one of the graphical user interface editors. And there are some here, and probably easiest to use is text editor, which is also called gedit. And I will show you here. See, in applications, system tools, you can open a mate terminal. and then you would be able to use nano, just like before. Or for ease, you could pull a link to an editor here, and since I already had one, it asks, do I want to replace it? And I'm not going to do that now, but it just makes a soft link here, so you can just click it and it opens it. If you go to applications and see here, sorry, accessories, then you have several editors here. Atom is maybe more an IDE than an editor, but you can use it. There's the Emacs as a GUI, and also as terminal. There is Pluma and Vim, but I would suggest you use text editor. It's here, because that you can open files in here, and you can create new file with that one. Small plus here. And this menu here, you can use that to find and replace and things here. So it's much like Notepad, and you can save it afterwards here.
Birgit,
Yeah.
I have far fewer options on my accessories, but I'm using a terminal for ThinLinc. Is that why I'm not seeing like Atom and stuff in the accessories?
If you are logged in through a terminal, then you will not see. Where did you log in? You logged in with a terminal to Kebnekaise.sp.
Sorry, I mean not terminal, browser. Sorry, I'm using a
Yes.
browser, and so there are some accessories missing. Is that because I'm using the browser? If I use ThinLinc normally, would the rest be there?
I think it would.
Okay.
There are some things that are very much different in the through the browser than it is if you're running it through a regular client. And I think that is why. I don't have a lot of experience with running it through the browser.
Okay.
Pedro, have you tried that? Have you seen if there are fewer things in the accessories there?
It's the same things. There are some modifications. And let me post this link here on the chat. So because so in the case of the web browser, you will get a small window, yes, where you can copy and paste, right? And also it would depend on where you can see the menu bar, so it can change.
I will try and see what happens if I do this.
Yeah. So on the chat I pasted how I saw the window, the web browser ThinLinc.
Yes.
But the rest is the same. So you see the applications, and also there is this small symbol.
There's this here,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
And there you can use that to copy and paste the text because it's not supported on the web browser.
Yeah, no, if you copy something here, then you have to go through this to copy and paste, and that's a bit annoying.
Yeah.
That is one of the features that are less, but it seems that the accessories are the same. So you can open text editor here. So that should not be why. I would suggest that if it looks different, send a support ticket to HPC2N and have them look into it, because it sounds like something is off.
So I just noticed the one thing was on your accessories, the first accessory was Atom, and it wasn't on mine. But then if I search for Atom, it comes up. So I'm not sure why there's a slight difference, but it doesn't seem to be missing.
Okay, but it's weird that it's not showing because I mean you kind of want to see it because you can't really guess which ones that would be there if you search for them. But I guess you can. Yeah. But okay, it's there. It's just not showing in the menu. And I'm thinking there is a bug. Do you have the mate terminal in the system tools?
Yes, that's there.
Okay, that's
Oh,
something.
sorry, adding something to what the person said. Yes, in my case, I can also not see this atom editor.
Okay,
Yeah, that's interesting.
that is definitely interesting
Yeah.
because it should be the same for everyone.
Mhm.
My only guess is that, I mean, if you log into ThinLinc, there are 2 login nodes. It will put you on one or other of them. And maybe the one I ended up on has things set up slightly different. Are you on 04 or 03?
Yeah, I am in this one that you are using, Birgitte.
I'm
Okay,
using O3.
Okay.
okay, so there could be something there, but it's definitely something we should probably check on because it should be the same.
Mm. Interesting.
Yes. I will close this. So okay. It's now 12:13. I think we should take the lunch break now, and then I will go through the file system afterwards. Then you also have time to look over things, make sure you can log in, make sure you have changed the password and get things set up so that we can start running more examples afterwards. So let's take the lunch break now and be back at maybe 1:15.